I think we need to take a minute and dissect what Christianity is. We need to remove our anger from the situation, and we need to look at it logically. Because let me close this shit. Because when we need to look at Christianity, we need to look at religion, we need to look at it honestly. Because there's been this mass revolution of being like, hey, fuck religion. Whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, whether it's anything organized, people are saying fuck religion. And that's understandable. I have said fuck religion, and I still feel like fuck religion. But at the same time, you have to understand, once we remove our feelings from it, there's no difference from any form of order. We just all give them different names. For instance, religion is just an orderly, magical concept that if you commit to it mentally, then your mind is attuned with that egregore, and now the magic from that religion works. But if your mind is not attuned with that of what a Muslim should be attuned with, the magic of the Quran is not going to work, or at least not as well. The same thing with the Bible. So we're talking about form versus lack of form, manifest versus unmanifest. And through this rebellion against the irresponsible and unethical and just outright evil running of our religious institutions, you've got people, because of lack of ignorance, they're not just rejecting religion, they're rejecting order and form in general. And you got to be careful with that. Now, I know that we are black, we are the original beings, we are what they call the primordial darkness. But everything is born out of darkness, even order. So you don't need to feel like you are betraying yourself, or you're betraying your ancestors, or being a coon or an Uncle Tom or weak or anything like that, because you want to add order to your life. But the thing is, you have to add the order. Not a pastor. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, every religion, every magical system is derived from one man's mind, maybe two, but a small group of people and their minds created every magical system. So in order for that system to work as if it's like science, you would have to have the exact same mind and understand every small intricacy that the person who created that system had. So how do you get that clarity? You have to create your own system, and you have to work it like a religion. How do you create a system? You create a mythology first. And with the mythology, you take those archetypes. You take the archetypes, you turn them into symbols, and then before you know it, you have deities. And now you can build more stories to further create and drill in the story of this universe, just like they do on Marvel. They're creating mythology in Marvel. So if one wanted to, one could go and take all of those symbols and those archetypes from Marvel. They could create sigils. They could create a magical system just off of Spider-Man. Who else are the other ones? You know, Doctor Strange, all of them other folks. You can do that. So I'm going to give you a personal example. I decided to do this a couple of years ago. I decided to create my own magical system or my own mythology. So I said, okay, cool. I know that archetypes are within me, and it's going to be very hard for me not to just repeat another story that I've already heard. So I had to really clear my mind and just allow just random nothingness just come to me. And I started writing a story about a black dragon who is actually a shape-shifting dragon that appears to a man. And it's the dragon that's as big and covers the sky. From the way you can see it, it looks like it covers the whole sky. And it's in the West. It's the black dragon of the West. Its actual form is like a cloud and a blob of a cloud, but its favorite form is a dragon. But it can turn into anything that it needs to turn into because this dragon in that black cloud depicts the primordial nothingness that has the ability to be anything. And so I'm working with this, and before you know it, I start hashing out the story, and I got to go back, and I can't remember exactly what it was. It's been a while since I've actually read that story. But I was able to connect it, and I looked, I was like, who is this great black dragon that represents the mind of man, or represents the mind of the all and the creation of God? So I looked up dragons, mythical dragons, and I came up on the story of Pormandris, the dragon that appeared to Tahuti on the mountain and gave him all of this info and all of this enlightenment and blah, blah, blah. I had never heard of that before I wrote the story. When I wrote my story, it was like 80% matched up with the story that I found about Pormandris on the internet. So that's just an example of how I was divinely able to bring down some real info. You see what I'm saying? So even when you do bring down a whole system that seems like, oh, I'm the creator of a magical system. No, this was something that already existed in the ether, maybe even on the earth before, but we're just pulling from this collective mind. You see what I'm saying? So we have to understand that if I wanted to go and take this info, if I wanted to go and let me run it back. We got to understand this. If I wanted to go and take this info, create a magical system, create sigils, create tables, create a uniform way of decoding and scrying and doing all of this. And I did it every day, and I re-solidified and reconfirmed, I can't think of the word, of the power, and keep pouring into it. And I had it all in a book, right? And then I buried it, and then I died, and somebody digs it up 1,000 years later. That's literally what the Bible is. That's 100% what every holy book is. Hell, to be honest, a lot of them were written and buried and dug up a week later, and then they acted like it was old. But that's another story for another day. But this is literally what the Bible is. It's somebody who took the responsibility upon themselves to do the channeling and the organization of an actual magical system. But you can do that too. You can do that too. You know what I'm saying? So, and once you start to do that, you break free from the stress that's caused by you trying to leave one religion and you go into another religion. Because you're not going to agree. I don't care where you go. There's no place where you're going to find that you 100% agree with everything that's being said. Because if you do, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. At that point, you're just doing whatever to fit in for survival. And I understand that. I understand that urge, but that's human shit. We talking about getting past and reminding ourselves who we are, which is way more than this human reality. And another thing is this kind of this appearance of the lack of form. So you got, people like myself that used to come out here and be like, no, I'm spiritual. No, I'm not religious. I'm dark side. Basically just doing the opposite of whatever people tell you to do. That in itself is a religion. That in itself is a dogma. You know why? And I can prove it to you. Because as soon as you start feeling like you don't want to be a rebel just to be a rebel, there's a part of you that the first thing that comes to your mind is like, damn, nigga, you a hoe now, nigga. What happened? What happened to all that dark side shit? What happened to all the rebellion shit? What happened to being a warrior? Blah, 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 blah. If it wasn't a religion, there wouldn't be so much violent opposition to you balancing out the other side. Have you noticed that every time that you want to bring some balance to niggas, you've been fucking with one group heavy, and then you feel like you being too over biased and you fucking it up, so you want to, invite them in and show them that you fuck with them too, but the first group kind of feels offended because you're not showing them as much love. That's religion. These are all entities. You got to understand the collective consciousness in the way that this shit works, that the entity that you call the Christian God literally is all of the microcosmic individual minds put together to agree upon one way of living. And when they come around each other, they agree that, hey, this is how we will live to maintain peace and happiness and prosperity and blah, blah, blah. That's what a religion is. And whether you realize it or not, you participate in religious activity every time you leave the house. Every time, you know how in the Bible it says when two or more are gathered together in prayer, then God is in the midst? Okay, let's break that down. Prayer is just thought. Everything comes from a higher realm, if you're being technical. Now you have higher forms of prayer and blah, blah, blah. But if we're being basic with it, there's no difference in praying and me just talking and what I'm doing now. This ain't my information. This is something that's coming to me right now. It's being channeled into me. So right now I'm praying, but I'm by myself. I'm doing whatever I want to do. My wife is not here. I'm good. I can do whatever. I can walk around butt ass naked. I can do whatever the fuck. I can do that when she's here too. But I could sing and dance and do all the shit that, even though that's my wife, and even though she knows me more than anybody on this earth, there's still a part of me that she doesn't know, because she's not gonna get this me when I'm with her. You know why? Because when one person agrees to be in the presence of another person, you have to compromise on who you are. Point blank, period. And if you don't want to compromise, that means that you just can't be around people. You have to choose. Yeah, I want to be myself and nobody should be able to compromise. Cool, you have the right to not compromise. But you can't want to be that person to not compromise on who you are in the way that you live, but then expect to want people to want to be around you. That's selfish. That don't even make sense. Everybody has to compromise when you go into a public space. And like I said, I'm not even talking about intimate relationships. I'm talking about two people that have never met each other. When I go to Walmart, I can't be myself. I can't be this person in Walmart. I'm not even, if I wanted to be myself in Walmart, I'll walk in that bitch butt naked cussing, talking shit. First nigga that looked at me crazy, I'ma smack the fuck out of him. Because that's really how most of us feel. But in order for the world to not just burn into shit, every time you go into public with niggas, you have an underlying understanding of this is how we're gonna be. Now I might have my thoughts. I might look at a motherfucker. I might, this whole ass nigga, man. Nigga taking too long with the cart in front of me. I might want to tell him, nigga, hurry the fuck up. But you have a certain way of respect and keeping yourself together so that whole motherfucker doesn't turn into a damn police scene. That mindset that everybody in there subconsciously agrees to abide by is literally the deity that controls it. That is the deity. That's not like part of, no, that is the deity. That is the archetype. That is the archetype. Straight up, that is the archetype. That is the religion. So the mindset that you agree upon to be a Christian is a deity. The mindset that you agree upon to be a member of your church is a subordinate deity, but it's still a deity. You see what I'm saying? So we've got to change the way that we view the world. A lot of us are looking at this world like, yes, I'm God and I'm this, blah, blah, blah. And yes, that's true. You are God. But who are you? What is you? You is not just this body. You, when you're in a room with somebody else, is you and them. And every piece of furniture, every bug, that's the real you. And the real you only keeps expanding bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So when you say, I am God, but you don't have a subconscious understanding of your union with everything and how microcosms and macrocosms work, as soon as you say, I am God, but you see your body and your ego and me seeing Nicholas Sullivan, which is my avatar's name, if I see that person as God, I'm immediately cutting me off to everybody, human and non-human, incarnate and discarnate, that has more knowledge than me, more money than me, more happiness than me. Yes, we're not supposed to worship and dick suck these deities. No, we're not supposed to do that. Just like you're not supposed to do the same thing with humans. But, you see what I'm saying? But, there's always a but. But if Jay-Z comes to you and gives you advice about how to get money, or you have an opportunity to go and sit in a class with a billionaire, are you going to go to him and be like, no, I'm a billionaire too? Everything's already manifested, man. I am that I am. I'm a billionaire too. What you think that billionaire gonna do? He gonna laugh at you and he gonna tell you to get the fuck out his face and continue to keep living as a broke nigga. That's what these gods are doing, bro. That's what these gods are doing. That's what I do to people that come up to me and disrespect me and want me to give them something for nothing. And we have an entire world of people who are giving. Okay, something just hit me. We have this thing in our mind to where we think that things are supposed to be given to us. And the reason that we think things are supposed to be given to us, because the most valuable thing that we give up every single day is under the illusion that we're giving it for free. And it's our attention. They said like 5-6 years ago that data was the most valuable thing on earth. It's more valuable than the most precious diamonds, gold. Like, data is the most expensive thing. And by data, I mean what I'm doing now. Every time that you scroll your phone, they're downloading information and they're using that data to attract your attention. And like they said, where attention goes, or your currency flows, or your energy flows. That's not just metaphysical at this point. This is very, very scientific. It's very, very physical. You know what I'm saying? We think that social media is free. It's not. It's the most expensive thing that we've ever had. Straight up. Because it's fun, you get all this free stuff, but you're paying with your energy. And you wonder why you can't manifest what you want, because you're giving all of your energetic currency to social media. And like I said, through advertisements and AI and the way that they target you and make you buy shit, and the way that they listen to what you're saying and they send you ads, and if you understand the slightest about mind control, then you would know that this is not just something metaphysical. There's an actual transaction. There's an actual paper trail that goes from the attention to the bank account. But we don't know that because we look at all of this social media shit as a free service, because the world is just blah, 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 blah. We've been tricked into thinking that everything that we get and do, that it's been given to us for free. So when something isn't given to us for free, we get mad at people. Why are you gatekeeping? Why are you gatekeeping? Why are you not gatekeeping? Why are you not gatekeeping? When are we going to learn? When are we going to learn that the enemy listens harder than the people that you're trying to convince? When are we going to learn? Because your enemy is dead on set on killing your ass. That he's locked in, he's committed to his life purpose. But yet we're giving information, very vital, very powerful information, to people that don't even know whether or not they want to even do it or not. We on here telling people on the internet, telling people how to create servitors and their own magical beings. We're telling people how to do all of this other stuff, and these people won't even go and meditate, read a book, build upon it, blah, blah, blah. And we just wondering, why won't they listen? Why won't they listen? Whole time, the enemy that hates you, they own their job. And I'm not even just talking about white people, because we know you got extraterrestrials, white people, the black elite. At this point, the enemy is a spirit that's moving from group to person, and is using its elusiveness and its gaslighting to have us mad at everybody but the actual entity, the energy that's moving throughout all of these groups. But that's another story for another day. Like I said, when are we going to learn? When are we going to start gatekeeping? When are we going to understand that nothing is free? Nothing is free. You think that you can just get on here and we can just speak and we can just be mad on camera and sound all militant and blah, blah, blah. And we think that that's going to bring us to a place that it's not. Bring us to a place that we're not. Why? We know how the algorithm works. The only people that's going to see this is the people that's already watching shit like this. The only people that's going to see this is the people that's already watching and bringing in stuff like this. So there's a good chance that this video is going to pop up on the timeline or For You page for somebody who's already seen another video on it by another creator. So that goes back to this whole religious thing that we try to trick ourselves into acting like niggas don't be religious. When in reality, once you join and you decide to be a part of a collective, for example, let's just pick one, I don't know, TikTok spiritual creators. As soon as you decide to do that, you have subconsciously agreed to be a part of the religion, which is TikTok spiritual creators. And like I said, there are deities and subordinate deities. The deity is just the collective agreement or collective unconscious of all of the human minds that are around. That's what the deity is. So as soon as you stray off the path of what them folks on TikTok want you to hear, or what the people that's been following you, or whatever the algorithm been showing your videos, as soon as you say something that don't agree with what makes them feel comfortable, now you a coon, now you an Uncle Tom, now you a Christian, now you all of this other shit. When if you remove your emotion, you clearly can tell that, oh, you calling me a coon, Uncle Tom, and blah, blah, blah. You're trying to make me feel bad so I can go back over there and be with you. So I can go over there and we can share our energy and blah, 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 because I removed my energy from a collective that relied upon that energy. And now they have to replace it. It's just like a job. When you leave a job, they're going to be kind of pissed because now they got to backfill your position. And they go in 2 weeks without an engineer on a project that needs an engineer. And now they're mad at you. You know, you see what I'm saying? It's so we have to understand this and just understand that moving within groups and sects and religions is a part of this. You just don't stay connected to it. Your body and the form and the matrix, the body, in itself is a religion. What's the difference between your body and the body that you call Christianity? They're all bodies. You're just like all of your minds come together to make up whatever subordinate deity runs your church. All of your cells, minds, and personalities come. All of your cells, minds, and personalities come together to create the one collective consciousness that you call I, or that I would call Nick. It's that simple. It's that simple. So we have to do more about removing our emotions from this. And also remembering that not everybody's where you are. People will be emotional. But you have to realize that when people are still on that emotional warrior, blah, 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 these are just kids or teenagers at best that are still rebelling instead of trying to build. I'm past my stage of rebellion. Because rebellion is what tore down the building, the prison structure that I was stuck in. Tarot key number 16. Rebellion was me tearing down that tower. But once you tear down the tower, you don't just continuously just roam without a home. No, you have to build a new tower. And until you build a new tower, you're going to be asked out in the wilderness. And you know what happens if you don't build your own tower? You're going to run back to what you know, which is probably Christianity. So that's what I was saying, you know, recently when I said something about, it was in another video, I said something about rebellion and why it's an important stage. Yes, it's an important stage. That's your darkness. But from darkness comes light. The light that you're in before you rebel is false light. It's not real. Then you go into the darkness to where you get the true light. And the true light is that new structure that you build on your own, not according to somebody else's. And by your own, I mean the big you. The big you. Your magical system. You have to come from the spot of understanding that I am separate from nothing. And I can try to block myself off from people, but at the end of the day, if one person's suffering, everybody's suffering. And I can explain that. So say that you having a good day, and everybody know you grow up with your mama, you know, everything good. everybody might be having a good day. I don't care how much you try to have a good day. If your mom's had a bad day at work, or she had a bad day, and she comes home, it might be your dad the same way. If they come home and decide to ruin the mood, my nigga, it's done. I don't care how much positivity and affirmations you want to. Once your mom decides that she wants you to be angry or mad or upset, you just got to accept it. When you try to be happy and you try to go around people and you can just feel people's negative energies mad at you just because you're happy. Yes, we like, oh, they just evil. But who is they? That's you. That's another aspect of you. That's another aspect of you looking at you and saying, hey, bro, what about the bigger part of me? What about the rest of you? That's not somebody else being mad at you and being evil and hating on you. No, that's you hating on you. Because you're only caring about your microcosm, which you're not taking into account everything. And if your goals don't take into account everything and the cyclical flow of everything, and if you coming in here and you fucking shit up and you knocking shit up for off of balance for everybody else, just so you can have some type of coherency and happiness and feel, it's not gonna last for long. It's not gonna last for long. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and try to scare you and be like, oh, well, that's evil. No, it's just not gonna last for so long, because I'm telling you, somebody in your life is not going to allow you to be completely happy. So how do you fix this? You have to leave the house every single day with your number one goal of contributing something to build to the betterment of the world in a way that you see fit, from the best way that you can, from your limited mind. And as long as it don't hurt nobody else, then you should be able to proceed. Now, like I said, we're not perfect. We're not going to get this right every time. But the attempts to be that, the attempts to try to do everything, do something that's in the best bet for everything in creation, not just on earth, not just incarnate beings, not just discarnate beings, everything, not just humans, bugs, plants, blah, blah, blah. And you have to decide what that is. You have to decide what that is. So that could be veganism. That could be how you give back to the world. Maybe you believe that not eating animals is good for, for the world and the collective consciousness and the blah, blah, blah. And if that's what you believe, then you damn sure should be a vegan. And if you're not, you're going to be going in contradiction to who you are. But me, I understand that plants are living too. I understand that even scientific, you can look it up on Google right now. Like, it'll be like the first thing, plants feeling pain. Plants feel pain too. Any plant person, a person that has plants, know if I walk over to my peace lily over here and I just cut off one of the leaves, I will distress that plant. Or if I move that plant out of its space prematurely, that plant will get depressed. These are living beings. You give the plant some bullshit water, not tap water. You give them that purified water that don't have nothing, no nutrients and no minerals in it. They will react accordingly. These are living beings that I understand that shit, even a rock is living. Just because you can't communicate with something doesn't mean that being isn't conscious. Because how do you know that being that can't communicate with you either doesn't think that you're a fucking idiot and that you're dumb and that you're inanimate? You know what I'm saying? So me understanding the totality of that, I understand that, oh, okay, food and eating and blah, blah, blah is a part of the life cycle, but there has to be a certain amount of giving for that. But that's a whole nother, I'm not gonna go off into that rant. But me, I understand that from a different perspective. So veganism is not gonna work for me because I'm gonna be thinking, damn, I'm eating these plants. I'm gonna be feeling guilty about that too. If that's the case. And then so to change that, I had to say, well, shit, what if a motherfucker ate me? Would I be mad? And then I had to realize, shit, okay, like shit, that happens. Better stay quicker on your feet. Shit, and don't get ate. Like on Attack on Titan. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm not gonna keep ranting. I think I got my point across, man. I just wanted to talk about how the illusion of religion and the illusion of, the illusion of the lack of form. It's not real, bro. It's not real. 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 Everything has form, but sometimes we're just too close in to see the form. When you walk up to a mirror and you just eyes glued directly to the mirror, you can't see the form that is your body, but it's still there. But when you step back and you widen your eyesight and you widen your scope of vision, then you can clearly see that there is form there. So I was just, wanted to talk about this because it's just so interesting how for years I was just kind of on this fuck Christianity, fuck the light, I'm all on the dark side. But I didn't realize that that's really what I was doing. Like I was rejecting form, period. Like motherfuckers would tell me to journal my dreams, and that pissed me off. And I'm like, nigga, I don't want to do. My bad, I just got a message. But I don't want to do that. Fuck words. I don't want to have to stop and write down and organize some shit. I don't want to stop but we have this entitlement. Like I said, and that comes from the lack of understanding of your connection to everybody else. We have this entitlement that we are supposed to be living this seamless, great life with and having to do nothing for it, which is all great and cool, but that don't work if you don't feel that way about every being here. That don't work if you don't feel that way about every being here. Straight up, man. Straight up. So, and I'm like I said, this is not me like trying to tell you out of like, oh, you're gonna go to hell and no, bro. Like I'm pointing out the incoherence between one's ego and one's higher mind. And that's all quote unquote hell is. You're gonna continue to create situations to where you're just not happy. A lot of the creators on here, they're not happy. They're angry and they're searching. And I get that and I understand that, but that's a phase that eventually you move past because you understand your connection to everything. And truly understand or understand, as people like to say. I used to say that was corny, but I like the way that it sounds because it feels better. But you have to truly know. It's like you can hear this, hearing me say this. It's not, you're just not gonna get it. Like after watching this video, you're not gonna walk off and be like, oh hell yeah, I seen that video. And I'm changed now. No, this is just gonna be a seed. This is just gonna be a seed that plants into your subconscious mind, and it's gonna unfold. And then a little bit down the road, could be a week, could be a year, could be 10. you're going to have these exact same realizations that I'm having, except you're going to actually have the realization and the feeling and the feeling of, oh, duh, what the you know what I'm saying? You gonna hear the same thing like, bro, I've heard this before, but it just didn't hit like that before. You know, I mean, that's just how it goes. That's how it goes. So, y'all be blessed, man. I had to get on here, and express myself. I do this. I talk like this with my wife all the time, and you know, with my friends, but I'm by myself and I ain't got nobody to talk to, so I'm like, shit, I might as well record a video. You know what I'm saying? I struggle with making content, you know, because I be feeling lame doing this shit, but it's like, it's not lame. It's just my own ego getting in the way. But so when I'm alone and nobody's around, it's real easy for me to make this content. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, man. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all.